Causality is the basic principle of logic, philosophy, and science. Cause and effect can be seen in everything from a river running downstream to a chemical reaction between oxygen and carbon. But how did the principle of causality arise? Why do we see cause and effect in everything? Do we get this principle from logic? Did a philosopher living in ancient Greece coin the principle of causality? Because they were the first ones to come up with this principle. Many who believe in metaphysics and something beyond the physical world might argue that causality does exist independent of our universe. But the principle of cause and effect that we see is empirical and has been derived from observation of causes and their effects around us in the universe. Causality explains our universe's most simple and complex phenomena. The ancient philosophers who formalized causality translated our universe's physical principle into a logical abstraction. Some philosophers argue that the principle of causality supersedes our universe, but we do not have any reason for such a belief. Science gives us a much more realistic explanation of causality. It explains how causality operates and hints at how it will end, because the death of causality will happen in the physical rather than the metaphysical realm. Let us imagine many Google years from now. Every star, planet, galaxy, and black hole has died in our universe. That would be when every point in the universe would be in the same energy state. And energy exchange in the universe would no longer be possible. The state of our universe would be permanent at last. This will be the most uninteresting point when even time would cease to exist. So what are cause and effect? The cause is the region of universe that sends energy out, and the effect is the region of space that receives the energy and gets transformed by that energy. According to the principle of causality, the effect in turn transforms the cause. So the region that sends out energy is also transformed. In the end, causality boils down to the transfer of energy in our universe. Finally, when the energy transfer would cease in our universe, the causality and the principle of cause and effect would also cease. This would be the death of causality. The death of causality gives us the understanding that causality is an emergent property of our universe. Understanding this, we can say that there is no causality without the universe. Quantum fields are the mechanism behind energy transfer in our universe. At any point when the change in quantum field becomes insignificant to cause change to affect other regions is when, in theory, the causality ceases to exist. This is the physical death of causality. But many will argue that thought is also a cause of change. Then what is a thought? Thought is basically an exchange of electrical energy between neurons in the brain. This change can affect whole parts of our brain and nervous system, which in turn uses the biological agency to change the surroundings of a living organism. The pattern of electrical transmission between the neurons can even be translated into language and its understanding, which can result in logic, mathematics, philosophy, and science. This ability gives a small part of the universe, known as a brain, understanding of the very principle that it operates on. Thought itself is bound to the principle of causality. But can we say that causality can exist without the universe? The answer in the truest sense is no, because every observation of causality is a product of our universe. But how did causality emerge? That in itself is a conundrum. The universe came into being and causality emerged. Did the universe give birth to causality, or did causality give birth to the universe? The question in itself is a paradox. But can causality give birth to itself? The answer is causality would not give rise to itself. It can arise without a cause. That would be the only answer to this question. Then what about the cause of the universe? The question in itself is absurd because the universe gave rise to causality and causality itself cannot give rise to universe. Thus we can even arrive at a conclusion that existence itself does not need a cause because physical existence is the reason for causality in the first place. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. You can also support me on Patreon. The link to my Patreon is in the description of this video.